Right guys, this tutorial I'm simply going to show you how you create an assembly drawing, and what that means is we're going to take all these parts that we've drawn, the MDF base, the acrylic sheet and the screw, and assemble them together in a drawing. Now here each file, I've got each of the files up. We've got the MDF base, the acrylic sheet and the screw here, and these are all IPT files which we call part files. But what we need to now do is open up an assembly file. So we've been using this file type, but now we're going to use an assembly file. So you need to open that up, and what you'll find is the ribbon at the top here is very different, but it's really quite simple. We're just going to drop in a copy of each of the parts that we need. So I'm going to select place, I'm going to click the MDF part that I want, and here I can click and drop those in, and I can actually put multiples of them in if I need them just by clicking. But we only really need one, so I am going to delete those and just be left with the one that we want. And then I'm going to put in the acrylic sheet, a copy of that. And then we need 4 screws. So even though we've just drawn one of them, we can put 4 of those in. And there we go. So we've got all the parts needed now, and we just need to communicate with the software how we want them assembled. And the way you do that is we put constraints on them. So now we're going to constrain, and the way this works is that you tell faces, and by a face I mean like the surface. So this is also a face. If it highlights just the line, we call that an edge, whereas this is a face. Okay, so face, edge, face. Okay, well, the way we're doing it initially is with faces. So we're going to tell the face of the acrylic that we want it to mate with the face of the MDF. And you'll see it move like that. Now it's good to check that it's in the right place by rotating, and here we can clearly see the acrylic sheet is on top of the MDF. Sometimes in this solution box here it can react in different ways, so we want to make sure it's the way we want. Obviously we don't want the acrylic sheet embedded into the MDF, we want it just on top. When we're happy with that, we can click apply. So we've got it into one of the correct positions, and now we need to just align the faces, this edge or this face even with this face here, and again it's kind of gone the wrong side, but if we press this it'll put it back to where we want. We're going to apply, and now I'm going to rotate it around so I can just see those faces, and then I'm going to click that one and this one and apply that. So to get the acrylic perfectly on top of the MDF, there should just be 3 constraints you need to put on. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is assemble the screws into the holes, and we use the same process again. We have to mate faces together, but then we also have to center the central point of the cylinder of the screw into the center axis of the hole. The way we do that again is with the constraints. But first of all, we need to mate that face. Make sure both the inner and the outer line are highlighted. If you hover your mouse, you should be able to get, you zoom in if you can't. So both are there, you've got the face. Onto the acrylic sheet. And we can kind of do that with all of them to begin with. Just get them all mated onto the acrylic sheet. And then I'll show you the next step in a moment. Again, really useful to use your mouse, the roller for zooming in and out. There we go. And now we need to use the insert constraint. So we're going to get the central point of the axes and line it up with the central point of the hole. I'll just start that again. So insert, there we go. Select this, and then over to the hole, and you'll see that the screw aligns with the hole there. I'm going to do the same over here. So we're selecting the central point where it highlights not only the edge, but also the center line of the cylinder, and the same for the screw hole. And then last one. Let's try that again. And there we go. We have our fully assembled maze game. And it's always good to save that. So you'll need that for the final part, which I'll show you in the next video, where we make an official drawing of our finished made product. Okay, there we go.